That's a solid green square. I don't see any immediate frame drops. So, welcome once again to Sound Goblin Gaming, presenting D&D in Hindsight. And today we will be D&D in Hindsighting Elder Evils. I'm Vincent.
I'm Krampus.
I'm Shiv.
I'm under grain.
And I'm Vincent. And it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. Elder Evils is much like its predecessor, exemplars of evil in structure, but this time it's the endgame threats. I once read an article that divided major RPG antagonists into three categories: man, king, and god. Man antagonists directly act against the parties themselves. King antagonists are the leaders sending minions out that either indirectly or directly come into conflict with the party, and god antagonists are the distant malevolent powers causing problems that might not even know or care about the existence of the players, but is usually a direct cause of their problems. In other words, the final boss and what this book is all about. Elder Evils came up before in Lords of Madness as things revered sort of by aboleths. They don't worship, it's strange, but that were directly called out as analogs of Cthulhu mythos, Old Ones, and Outer Gods. You will not find them in this book, as these are new Elder Evils that take a different angle and draw inspiration from elsewhere, sometimes tying directly into D&D lore. So let's get into it, starting with the first chapter, Evil Does Not Sleep. The book starts with general concept chapter.
I do. Very tired.
That other guy was in a nightcap on the cover.
I'm elder. I need a lot of sleep.
Hey, we're a little nightcap.
I would actually argue I sleep a lot.
It's this robe. It's a very big robe.
Yeah, it's my night robe. Put it on for me to go to the bathroom.
Hey guys, this book starts with a general concept chapter. So instead of a constructing villains like Elder Evils did, which is kind of welcome to bit, considering the concept of the villains here, we don't really need a constructing chapter per se. The goal here is the end game and building to it, hinting at what lurks beyond the threat to come and the end of the world or some such thing like that. And it starts by explaining the generic elements that you will see in the later chapters, as well as a sidebar for Elder Evil traits, which it states are akin to Abomination ones, with two main differences. They have no common origin whatsoever with each other, and they are not built to be fought by epic characters, thankfully, which makes them way more useful than Abominations by default. You can throw a Hecatontress at your party, they will die. Hilariously.
Good. They know what they did.
But yeah, it is a general collection of, well, basically boss immunities. You're not going to stun these things or take them out of the fight with anything other than, like, mostly just damage. They're also immune to death from massive damage, because that would be fucking stupid. They're also probably immune to death from massive damage because you've thrown it out of your game. But this is rare.
Everyone's going to have massive damage.
Yeah. Okay. Of course, you don't want the suddenly drop an Eldritch Abomination from beyond your darkest nightmares on a party without foreshadowing. Otherwise, it will be dead before you finish describing it. So start by building the hype with Signs of the Apocalypse. Events that hit at the coming of an Elder Evil with various degrees of subtlety, from out of season weather to the sun just fucking disappearing. Your average adventuring party will probably need something closer to the sledgehammer approach, and you might want to add a ranting scholar explaining what's going on for good measure, which might add dealing with the world-ending threat right after the 4-month backlog of various side quests to their agenda, hopefully. It is notable that some of these signs are also more actively annoying than others. For some of the Elder Evils, the signs are just like a, hey, it's here type of hint. For others, the sign itself is actually the big problem. Also, some more vile feats for making your own Elder Evil minions, including some deformity feats, which, for some reason, they didn't print the starting one willing deformity in this book. So I went and grabbed it. Despite, yeah. Also, I don't know how they didn't fit it. It's this fucking big.
Do you not have all our previous books?
That's just it. They almost always actually do print, like, prerequisite feats unless they're, like, in the player's handbook. The only thing they ever assume the players have is the basic 3 books. So it is just weird that this is the one thing they missed in like all of the books we've gone over.
That is fair, and as you pointed out, there's so little there. They could have fit that in anywhere.
Yeah. I literally shoved it at the top of the page. Also, I haven't talked about Vile Feats when they came up before, and won't now for basically the simple reason they all suck balls. The vast majority are minor modifiers and finicky nonsense not worth caring about from either side of the table, even in an evil campaign. And what little you can mine from it as a DM, like Vile Damage, you can just throw onto things as a DM and don't need a feat for this or anything like that. Or if you are a player character, Vile Damage is just fucking worthless. Because all it does is make it harder for the Vile Damage to be healed. And it's usually causing 1 Vile Damage, so who cares? And finally for this chapter, Malefic Properties. Basically extra special defenses that Elder Evils have against deific interference. All of them have an anathematic secrecy, which keeps divine divination from working, and the rest of them, the rest of the abilities on this page will appear at least once. They are as flavorful as they are annoying in some cases, depending on whether or not you're a divine caster of one sort or another. Like, yeah, it's just straight immune to divine spells, or all divine casters lose the ability to regain spells within the area, depending on how powerful the Elder Evil is. This could be like the planet. It could also be the dog. Just a second.
Dog.
Bork, bork.
The Elder Evil, known only as the dog.
Yep.
No. She's not an Elder Evil. She ain't evil.
Of course not. She wouldn't even homework cricket. Literally. Likes to carry them inside and drop them perfectly fine. All right. In any case, moving on to chapter 2 and the first of the rest of the chapters of this book, which are much akin to Exemplars of Evil. Every single chapter past this is a singular, or is a singular villain, basically, or a singular elder in this case. And starting with Atrophos, the World Born Dead. This name is metal as hell. Atrophos is, or rather was, the deity responsible for creating all the gods by sacrificing itself to birth them from the primeval void, leaving only its head the size of a moonlet which floats through space searching for worlds to consume. It is an inversion of all life that draws its power from the native energy plane, and as such makes the death of a planet rise when it comes near. Or the dead on the planet rise when it comes near. It is very much an undead raising thing.
How many Marvel villains did you just combine into one?
Let's see. We have Galactus and Marvel Zombies, I think. In any case, Atrophos' goal is to undo its own sacrifice and reclaim its power by devouring all life in the universe in order to unmake the gods. Alternatively, you can see this as Dead Space, which came out in 2008 and is almost certainly unrelated, though strangely close.
Remove the limbs.
Yep. Oh, that's just the aspect. In any case, when Atrophos is at its closest point, everything dead on the planet rises as a zombie or skeletons, and everything that dies reanimates as a zombie 1 round later, and all undead are boosted in HP and turn resistance. Also, as you can see, this aspect is no fucking joke. I think Shiv will confirm with me that, yeah, this is a tough cookie.
Let's see here. Small amount of health. I did some fast healing. DR epic. And good.
And good, yep.
DR weapon we purposely left for the player character.
Its slams have on critical hit death with a DC 67 fort save.
Yeah.
Just your everyday thing.
Yeah, having, this is the first one I did, obviously, because, it's chapter 2. Having looked at all the other endgame bosses, yeah, this is the most seriously ridiculous one. Like the other
I'm
ones.
gonna say easiest because that would be even funnier.
No. I think this is the one you purposely use when the party is a bunch of power gamers.
What is an angel? Is an angel of decay in this book?
I don't think so. More than likely, if I'm guessing, and it is a complete shot of the dark, it's probably from Monster Manual 2.
That's from Liber Mortis.
Oh, that makes sense.
Liber Mortis.
Okay.
Okay. So when he kills
That was my
anything
second
that's
guess.
huge or smaller, they just come back as an angel of decay under his control. These are CR-15 creatures.
Yeah.
It's fine because he's CR-23.
That might actually be an undercon.
Ooh.
Just has con drain on every hit. Does 3 negative levels on every hit.
Just don't get hit.
I will also say that the combat encounter rig for him, I'm not going to spoil anything because I'm not going to spoil anything too directly, but the combat encounter does have some very specific instructions that he's not being run as intelligently as possible per se, at least initially. So players will probably have a few rounds of fighting him without having to worry about him just going to fucking town on them.
Oh, he's Regigigas. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I do like the once per day swift action. All divine spellcasters and exoplanar outsiders within 1,000-mile radius
Yeah.
make a save or get sickened for hours. Sorry, just get sickened for hours and then have a save to not take 66 points of vial damage. He has 1 or 2 feats.
Has 1 or 2 feats.
His giant feet block.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
No,
that's
he
2
has 2
feats.
feet.
I
I've seen
mean,
the picture.
he has 66 hit dice, so it makes sense.
Yeah, like at least he's only casting or at least when he attacks, he only swings twice.
Yeah.
Probably your biggest saving grace of fighting him.
I also love the at-will circle of death.
Yeah.
And 3 times per day you can quicken it. Just...
Yeah. Also 3 times per day Meteor Swarm. Also 3 times per day Waves of Exhaustion. So God is gonna suck actually fighting this thing.
Yeah. The bright side, those DCs aren't completely fucking ridiculous. They're not 55.
I like the vast gulf between I cast Whale to Banshee in DC 29 and I touch you. I got a crit. Make a DC 67 save or die.
Make a DC roll a 20 or die. It's
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like he has regular high stat for the casty stuff, but then has epic level stats well above CR-23 for anything that has a DC on them.
Yeah. No, it's
DCs in the 50s and 60s are not CR-23 level in any way, shape, or form. He
No.
can't pass his own saves.
Accurate.
His fort saves a 24.
That's not true. He rolled 20.
Okay. Hey, case. Here's a couple of more comparatively reasonable level villains. That's not saying anything. I think almost everything is comparatively reasonable, but
I was gonna say.
Just a Bard Erd Priest. Of course it's more reasonable.
I'm fairly certain anything that actually has a properly
It has a
statted
6th
CR,
the health.
yeah.
That is a reasonable one comparatively.
But yeah.
Doesn't do 3 negative levels every time it touches you.
You can take those 3 negative levels a few times. So Karya, an Earth priest gone mad that wants to cast Apocalypse from the sky to draw Atrophis' attention to the world, and Gorgoth, a Bodak, which is a type of extraplanar undead, that fled from the abyss with an army of undead and demons to help annihilate the world for Atrophis in hopes of finding release from existence. As you do.
Sure.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
Mondays, am I right?
Yeah. Let's see. Also, yeah, the Moonlit, which is both dungeon and antagonist in one. In other words, this is literally Atrophis. A 700-mile diameter ball of space suck that enters into a descending orbit as soon as it arrives, picking up speed as it falls so it can, I don't know, smash into the world or something like that. I also just love this face. It's just...
Yeah. He's got some acne, though. He's got looked at.
It looks so much more menacing on the actual, like, drawn. And it's just here, it's just derpy
It's
as
just
shit.
the biggest yawn. Yeah.
Oh, I'm coming for you. Oh, I'm falling.
Also, like Exemplars of Evil, each chapter ends with 3 encounters, and this is the only one I'll be showing, as going over them kind of defeats the purpose. The third encounter is...
Zone.
Yeah. The third encounter is where you're going to usually find the big bad evil guy, the Elder Evil. Alright. Next one. Father Limerick. So, some ancient elves decided to construct a legally distinct vast gate to explore the deepest reaches of the cosmology.
Oh, the vast gate.
Yep, tunneling out of the normal bounds and into the far realm that lies beyond. A place of Lovecraftian lunacy that lets, and they let loose several creatures from beyond it, so which couldn't survive in this reality, but one that had different issues. This creature could not move and had an aversion to the sun, but despite this was a master of illusion and trickery, able to taint and corrupt those who came near, seeing it as a kindly old man, which is where the name Father Limerick comes from. The elves destroyed everything he tainted and soon discovered that sunlight caused thick layers of ice to form around this creature. So they placed him on a high mountain and guarded the place until they all died off. Father Limerick continues corrupting things around him, spreading a disease called brood fever to a large radius, as well as trying to lure things closer so he can touch them. As the size of his brood grows, Father Limerick's power does as well, shrinking the amount of daylight until the world is nothing but night, which will melt the ice imprisoning him and free Father Limerick eventually. His touch also turns things into brood spawn, but that requires things to get close to his tomb, which he uses his illusionary self to achieve, which is not actually a part of his stat block, and honestly doesn't need to be, as it only matters while Father Limerick is dormant, and the second paragraph here describes how it works well enough. In any event, his goal is to make brood spawn. As you can see, he's also a lot more fucking reasonable as far as an opponent is concerned.
I have some important questions about Father Limerick. So he has a bunch of followers who, I don't know, they want to become bigger and give him more power so he can end day.
Yeah.
But why don't they just build a house around him?
Well, you see, I don't know.
If your weakness is being visible in the sun because it causes ice to freeze around you, construct a building, my dude.
I also can't answer that one because, yeah, that sounds completely reasonable and insane. On the other hand, the best response I can think of is the brood spawn are kind of semi-instinctual beast type things, and the cultists are fucking crazy, and who knows.
Little column A, little column B.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of column B.
A lot of column B. In any case, this brings us to the brood spawn themselves, which is a template. Brood spawn remember nothing in their previous life and are fully devoted to Father Limerick. He also has cultists because, of course, he does, as I previously mentioned. Honestly, they're like henchmen in a superhero comic. They just exist in DnD. I will constantly repeat myself when it comes to cultists. I think practically everything here has cultists.
Yeah.
Also, pictured here is only the peak of the mountain, with the rest of it left to the DM. This one is fairly adjustable to your tolerance for dungeon crawls, honestly. Also of note, the weather outright keeps you from flying higher than 20 feet, which is how they keep a high-level party from just flying to the top, because by the time anyone could actually handle Father Limerick, you're easily going to have various ways of flying.
But if it's just the weather stopping you from being able to fly, don't you also have various ways of weather control?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you do. There's a hidden cultist with a counterspell every time you try and cast one of those. Or sorry, there's a hidden cultist that is ready to counterspell and has your exact spell that you're trying to cast to get around the weather. I don't know.
Oh, assholes.
Like, I would have just made it this weather is supernatural, and you're making an opposed caster check against them. In which case, you're not going to make that.
I mean, you probably will. He's only like CR 18.
He has 24 he has 24 hit dice. You might actually.
If you cast level 24, you could definitely beat that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep.
I mean, technically, the caster level for Atrophis isn't that high either. It just doesn't matter because it doesn't need to cast spells to kill you.
Very true.
No, he needs to make contact with you with his fucking ridiculous attack bonus, I think, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus 50 or 60 something.
Yeah.
CR 23 is complete bullshit.
Yeah. Like, you may have actually made an epic monster here. I'm just...
May have.
Yeah.
It was CR23. I'm pretty sure that's an epic monster.
Yeah, ish.
Ish.
Not entirely.
No.
There's plenty of things
shades of
in
epic.
the low 20s that aren't epic.
Yeah. Technically, like, player characters can fight up to like 5 challenge rating above them. So, like, something up to challenge rating 25 could technically fight it's supposed to be an appropriate threat, appropriate deadly threat for, like, a party of 4 level 20s.
Also, his DR is epic.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
I'm sure that puts him there.
That honestly, considering what he is, that puts him in the category of I handed the players a specific plot magic item.
That's fair.
All right, the Hulks of Zoretha. So 5 stone monoliths hidden in the far north mountainous region. They radiate a nightmare-inducing power that drives onlookers insane and conveys their true nature. They are here as alien forerunners from a place called Zoretha, here to purify the world of all sapient life to make room for their offspring, which requires being able to move first. To that end, they have plenty of bad cultists, because of course they do. This one comes with its own plot hook in the form of the Zoretha Scrolls, which describe the what and why of the Hulks, though they are not artifacts or magical in any way, instead just being ancient mad ramblings on old crumbling paper. Reading them also has a chance of forming a link with the Hulks for as long as the person keeps reading the scrolls, forcing a will save to not take wisdom damage and possibly driving the reader insane. Also, here's a timeline which exists in all the Elder Evil chapters, but is a good map for sprinkling hints of an Elder or Evil through the campaign. Also, their sign is the Blood Moon, which is basically apocalyptic and strong, and is the real threat to the world that these things pose us.
Link, beware the Blood Moon.
Yeah.
Let's make some of the monsters respond.
No. Let's see. People start to distrust each other at feigns, distrust each other even more at moderate, at strong. Every time you wake up, DC 10 will save, or you fly into a rage until you kill someone. Overwhelming, it's now DC 15, is more intense rage, and also is doing non-lethal damage to you. Note, this is a planetary effect. So they're not actually that tough by the standards of this book, though there are 5 of them, and more is going on behind the scenes as well. Also, they were smart enough to make these things indestructible until you wake them up, but not unmovable. So the best solution here is chucking them into the negative energy plane as soon as you see the statues. If you're the DM, don't actually let your players do this. fucking obviously. This is the problem with high-level campaigns. There's random nonsense the players can actually do to completely derail it.
What the heck do these things actually do?
So there's basically one for each element when it comes to the females, and there's the one male. Let's see. Reasonably tanky. What is their offense here?
Handful of slams, 2d10 plus 25 plus 2d6 of element. A breath weapon that is a 14d10 cone of element. Can summon elementals of element.
Yep.
Horrific nightmares.
3 times for just swift
Cup.
action.
Waking nightmares and things nearby.
Yeah.
That causes various effects. Immune to divine divination spells. Divine spellcasters that sleep near them have to make will saves or take wisdom damage.
Only within 100 miles.
Yeah. Detection. It cannot be harmed by any means.
Until they're awakened. Yeah.
And once awakened, they cannot be harmed again.
Yeah. And yeah, you'll be fighting I believe you'll be fighting the 4 of them at once, possibly all 5. I forget exactly.
Let's see. The male is less threatening in melee.
Yes, I think I remember that being the case.
It's two claws and a bite was a poison.
Yeah.
Someone displaced their beast for some reason.
The elementals were covered by the 4 females.
Well, I mean, elementals make sense. They're just conjuring elemental things.
Yeah.
Why does he summon displacer beast?
Why not?
Displacer Beast Pack Lord, nonetheless. That part I can't really tell you. In any case, our 2 major players in the story are the wizard researching how to wake the golems up, and the frost giant cult leader who has finally taken control of the squabbling mad cults and seeks to have the Hulk, or to not have the Hulks wake up ever. What are you, crazy? Those things are dangerous.
That's fair.
And the temple proper, which is one big ass arena, which you certainly won't need. No points.
No way the Hulk's gonna wake up. So
No, certainly not. No points for guessing where the
Make sure he
Hulks are.
doesn't wake up.
All right. The Leviathan, also known as an allegory for the ancient civilization of Babylon, except where it's portrayed in anything where it be a big thingy. In this particular case, it's world spanning. Worlds are created by the gods mixing specific amounts of law and chaos together, but when they do, they tend to go a little heavy on the chaos, creating beings of pure chaos, like the Leviathan, which are either imprisoned demiplanes or made to slumber until their energies dissipate. As awake, they would destroy everything they encounter. As such, the Leviathan dreams at the depths of the ocean, its dream spawning both monsters and natural disasters. Semi-awake, the Leviathan would shatter and remake the world, and fully awake, it would outright destroy the world and itself in the process. Leviathan is a mindless thing of pure chaotic destruction, and the only Elder Evil in this book that isn't evil in alignment, and the aspect isn't meant as a final boss, but instead as a random encounter. There's actually a greater aspect of Leviathan later, which... just this thing tuned up, basically.
can swallow things whole.
Yep. Also of note, its existence is also well known by both the dragons and the ancient intelligent sea creatures. like the Ixit Zat Chittle from Monster Manual 2. This is a recurrent theme in this book. A race of sea-dwelling aberrations that look like manta rays that live in large oceans with a bunch of sea-dwelling slaves and strip it of all resources before leaving, making them universally hated by every other race under the sea. In any case, Axolotl here is a vampiric Ixizachitl, which are not undead, they're just goths. And a faithful priest of Demogorgon who decided it'd be great to partially awaken the Leviathan and control it to destroy all the land, disguising himself as a human priest to trick the land dwellers into doing parts of the ritual that needs to be done on the surface. Once his plan inevitably goes disastrously wrong, he's also the only source of knowledge of how to unfuck this mess and keep the world from being unmade. Also, Marcus here is an assassin assigned by Demogorgon to aid Axolotl, as the Prince of Demons is all for the land-seeking plan, as it pleases his ally Dagon, and I don't know, he finds it funny or something. He's a demon. This is destruction on mass scale. It's basically their bag. And the Spine Temple. Literally, the Leviathan spine, one of the Leviathan spines carved into a temple, was originally used by Chaos Worshippers to recharge arcane energies, but is used by the evil Not Manta Ray to conduct the Leviathan awakening rituals until everything goes pear-shaped. As you do. Let's see. Alright. Pandorum. So, long ago, some wizards broke cosmic law by probing into the spaces between reality and decided, for their own protection, to bargain with a god-slaying singularity that they named Pandorum. After it got here, they realized they had no way to control it and split the mind from the body. When the deities arrived, they realized what was going on and wiped out the wizards and their civilization and all records they could of this thing, hiding the mind and body away in separate secret prisons. Because it is that dangerous. Naturally, Pandorum is a bit miffed by the whole affair and seeks to break out and get revenge by killing the descendants of the wizards that betrayed him, and then all the gods because he said he'd do it and it seems like a fun time. Pandorum has tried several times to mind control passersby from his crystal prison, until recently they break before they could accomplish anything. His mind is just that fucking overwhelming.
Fucking Heidelin. Random passerbys trapped in a crystal. That's Heidelin.
so
Evil Heidelin.
They stole
How'd you
Heidelin.
like to kill some gods, buddy?
So they stole Heidelin from this book. This book definitely predates FF14.
Sorry, no, I wasn't saying they ripped off Heidelin. I'm saying
Yeah.
Heidelin ripped off this.
In case, Pandorum has as one entity has no stats and is bluntly stated that it would just destroy the world and the campaign is over if this happens. So the body is treated as an uncontrollable 30-foot diameter sphere of annihilation that was thrown into a pocket dimension that only touches reality at one point. And if the full minder is released, nothing will be able to stop that either. The only thing the players have a hope of fighting is a fraction of the mind, as stated here, which might be might be encountered when you're dealing with his other things. But we'll pause for a second. Again, this one's also no joke. This is actually a higher challenge rating than freaking Atrophus.
Yeah, that's great. How does
Yeah.
it deal with several negative levels every time it gets touched?
It's like, okay, they've listed him as a higher challenge rating. Is he a higher challenge rating?
No.
I'm afraid I have bad news. You'll have to fight a small sliver of a fraction of Pandorum. The good news is you won't have to fight his mind. Oh, that's good. You'll have to fight his butt. You've got a small sliver of the butt of Pandorum right here.
I like how some of these hate like divine casters. Like divine spellcasters within 1,000 miles lose the ability to regain spells.
They all
You know what
hate.
they did?
Yeah, they all hate on Divine one way or another. This isn't even all his stats. There's actually goes off on the next page. Okay, there's like Divinity Siphon here. Yeah. Now, granted, he does specifically hate on the Divine. But yeah, like the base Elder Evil power is basically a screw of Divine magic. So it is kind of how they flavor the thing. On the other hand, how much is too much?
I also love that his melee attack is a incorporeal touch at +50 for D6 +2 per divine caster level of the target.
Yep. Really fucks with divine casters, and the fighter doesn't notice. Which is fine. He's also a fairly powerful scion, effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as breaking him out, we have this dumb ghost and this dumber inevitable. So Lycanthar is a descendant of the wizards that summoned Pandorum and decided to look into what they were doing, lead him to Pandora's mind crystal, which proceeded to blast his soul out of his body and turn him into a ghost and bind him to his service. Lycanthar is searching for someone who can actually withstand being possessed by Pandorum. And the other one here, Oligatham, the seventh is the seventh Koliarut, I never know how to pronounce that one, inevitable, tasked with fulfilling the lawful contract that the wizards forged with Pandorium, and wants to free him towards that end, as did his predecessors, who have all been stopped by everyone because it's a horrible fucking idea. This is why you put sunset clauses on your contracts and exceptions in case of, I don't know, world annihilation. It's the weirdest plot device, honestly.
The guys who are all lawful have to try and free him because, they made a bargain and it was broken.
He does look really cool, though.
I mean, he's a colorite, so.
Yeah.
Like, he's an inevitable.
Yeah, they're clockwork people, effectively, because they're from Mechanus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here we see the Crystal Prism Complex and the inevitable breaking a prison crystal in order to release a reality-destroying threat because they can't stop building this specific model. That'd be their question. Could you just not build another one?
They can't let it go. They're literally law.
I know.
Not how it works.
Okay. Ragnora, Mother of Monsters, an ancient being that is a corrupting source of life that sees worlds, twisting some sapient life and using others as hosts for her creations, eventually annihilating all life not born from her on the worlds she visits. To that end, she is served by the cult-like group known as the Malshapers, survivors who believe in helping Ragnora find suitable places to mess with, using seeded life and redrawn astral runes to direct her where they want her to go. Ragnora is enormous as she travels, but soon shrinks down by crashing into the world and breaking into a bunch of different corrupting pieces that fly everywhere, leaving only a comparatively smaller sized and more manageable Phase 1 encounter. Yeah, this is actually only Phase 1. I didn't even bother putting Phase 2. It is getting a bit too in the weeds of what's actually going on with the fight.
It's just a bunch of question marks anyway.
Yeah.
Step 3 is profit.
Exactly. It's definitely an HP sponge considering the challenge rain. Not saying the fact that like all of them are HP sponges, but
Yeah. A single slam that does 1 vial damage.
Also 3d8 plus 19 actual damage, which it's still not really that much for what
it's
it is.
just a +1 vial.
Yeah, there's 1 damage you can't heal. Okay, I guess.
Immune to divine stuff, because again, it hates divine like everyone else does. Tramples has a corrupt positive energy aura.
Yeah. Ragnora is actually sort of a mirror image of Atrophis in the sense that it is a positive energy being. as opposed to a Trophus, is very much a negative energy.
Yeah.
It's corrupting growth in life, basically. And again, this is like phase 1. Phase 2 is its own thing as well. Here, the Cax here is a sample mouse shaper that the DM can use in several ways, honestly. Mouse shapers are, by their nature, mad, so their actions don't really have to make much in the way of sense. And strangely enough, like, they're almost background characters if you're using this thing directly, as their work is basically done once it hits your planet. So either because you want the fight to happen, the player characters are going to be too late to stop them, and then you have to deal with them, or I don't know. It's whatever you want to work it out to. These chapters are as loosely written as the ones in Exemplars of Evil, so it is however the DM wants to really use any parts of it. And finally, and of course, the dungeon here is the heart of the crater, where you will inevitably encounter Lavos.
Pool of water, a pool of acid, or pool of mega.
Future refuses to change
Yep.
them.
Future always refuses to change. Except when it doesn't.
Something related to Yuan-Ti.
Yep. So, Sertrus was an ancient demon lord from before the rise of the Tenari, or even mortals, a rebel Oberth lord who opposed the Queen of Chaos, but was not as good as avoiding her wrath like Dagon and the other rebels, resulting in being deaded and having his essence cast into the gulf between planes, where he grasped at anything to save himself, only managing to find a serpent to inhabit in a primeval fen. From this, he grew back into a more madness-inducing form, but kept the serpent traits as disguises should he encounter agents of the Queen. He saw the rise of the first mortals, grew jealous, and waged war on them. The mortals pleaded for help from one of their deity's minions, a solar named Avamarin, who waged war on Sertrus with his own army. The battle left only Avamarin and Sertrus as survivors, with Avamarin gaining the upper hand, and before slaying Sertrus, heard one last question from the serpent demon. Why serve your lord when his playthings can gain the same strength of power through their own will? Avamarin then proceeded to take Sertrus's head and went back to the mortals and, like an idiot, repeated the question to them. This prompted a philosophical discussion that led the mortals to discover that they could worship concepts, mountains, battles, even Oberth lords for divine power instead of deities, which was a big oopsie on Avamarin's part. Avamarin told his lord his mistake and was demoted to Planetor for it, which enraged him to the point where he cast aside his service and stole Sertrus's head, got cursed by the gods to have a vision of a snake. Avamarin then devoted the rest of his existence to serving Sertrus and founded the Vanguard of Sertrus. So
I'm going to worship this golden calf instead.
Yeah.
Having learned no lessons.
The Vanguard of Sertrus is a Yuan-Ti organization whose true goal is the same Sertrus had when he wasn't a preserved severed head, the resurrection of Sertrus as a demon lord in his now abandoned home on the Abyss, the 380th layer, the Hungry Tarns. In order to do so, they gather petitioners through getting his own followers murdered in war against anyone which reforms them in his lair as snakes, because, I mean, look at him. Unsurprisingly, it's Snake.
Yeah.
Snake? Snake? Snake!
A 5 half-headed snake. I mean,
There's one bite.
yeah. Well, yeah, it's 5 jaws, but it only has the top half. Yep, bite plus 35. Also has 2 claws and a tail. Also, it's a pretty modest full round attack.
Yeah, bite 2 claws with it.
Yeah. Your high level character will hardly notice the damage.
Yeah, the damage is very high.
No. Though notably, he is an Oberith, so he has a form of madness.
Ah.
Yeah.
Fear of snakes.
Yep. Develops overwhelming fear of snakes and serpentine creatures, including hydras, Golgoth, dead there later, Yontes, and Surtress himself. As long as the serpentine creatures within sight, blah, 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 blah. But yeah. And speaking on, so the current figurehead leader of the Vanguard I print the... I don't know what that name is. The Vanguard of Surtress... sorry. The current leader of the Vanguard is Seghol Irek. I really should put a pronunciation guide for that. Who knows the truth about that Surtress is dead and Avamarin is the actual leader. She does the army and war thing, encouraging clerks in her ranks, but making sure they follow ideals rather than deities, which makes it easier for them to become petitioners of Surtress since their souls aren't claimed by another. Also, the Golothomas are barely intelligent Oberiths that became associated with Surtress by accident of his new form, but have started to take up residence as in the Hungry Tarn, or as the Hungry Tarn becomes full of petitioners. Their form of madness, by the way, creates an unhealthy obsession with shadows and shadow illumination, messing with your concentration when you're in either bright light or darkness, i.e., places without shadow. And finally, the Serpent Reliquary is an extra-dimensional space that Avamarin uses to hide himself and Surtress' head. Avamarin, by the way, has literally the stats of a Planetar, in case you're wondering. You certainly won't be fighting him. Certainly not. Alright. And now continuing with something from Exemplars of Evil. Chapter 9. The Worm That Walks. So... Kias was an evil and powerful something in ancient human society that dabbled in the forbidden naughtiness and was responsible for bringing about several entries in the monster manual. Eventually, he got kicked out of his city for ranting too much about the final age of some sort, but he had enough followers that worshipped him. So when he commanded them to restore an ancient city found on an island, they did, and he ruled as a god and king until he found a way to ascend to actual godhood from some metal disc that they found in the ruins, and had his priests kill his entire congregation. Then he killed his priests and whispered the magic words near the obelisk, turning him into the Worm That Walks, and trapped him in the obelisk. That's what you get for half understanding what you're doing. Yep. Should have read the instruction manual. So there's an adventure path called Age of Worms that was published in 12 issues of Dungeon Magazine that runs along the same idea, but with some change beats from this chapter. Also to explain, because it hasn't actually come up before, Dungeon Magazine was a magazine that ran parallel to Dragon Magazine. Dragon Magazine was more on the structure idea where you would find like monsters or player character options or various other things like that. Dungeon Magazine was more publishing actual like bits and pieces of adventures and encounters and stuff like that. Hence why over 12 issues they basically were able to do the equivalent of like an entire campaign module. Also of note is the escalation of his sign, because I didn't put it on this page. His sign is Infestation, which starts out as a 10% chance to encounter 4 medium monstrous centipedes or centipede swarms each week that the party is around, and ends with a 20% chance of encountering 3 purple worms or 6 red morazes each hour.
It's okay.
Yeah. I'm assuming that's the sign that pops up when you're somewhere close to about to fight him, just in case the party decides to wander off and realize that they're going to start encountering like 6 red brasses.
Roughly once every 5 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
What if the food you're eating became worms?
Or just him behind a tree or something, I don't know. It should be noted that you will never get to the part where the worm that walks actually spawns, as all of your players will quit towards the end of the campaign. When you get to the part where you run them through the Tomb of Horrors. Who wrote this? It is literally up here as the last thing here. It's also while the overwhelming sign is happening. It's possibly the only thing worse than actually having to walk around where with a 20% chance of spawning like 3 purple worms or 6 red reses an hour. In all seriousness, the sphere is actually at the front of the tomb, so if the players get some hint that they were duped, you can keep them from going deeper in and save yourself from being defenestrated later on when they realize what's happening.
I think you deserve it.
Yeah, he's actually built very much on the worm that walks itself, including having his own worm smite. Although he actually has to make a standard attack. Worm smite is usually a touch attack for the for a lesser worm that walks. His is more ridiculous, obviously, because he's that. By the way, he is the guy on the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He is a giant pile of sentient bugs.
Yep, a giant pile of sentient bugs. And that's actually a very big cloak because he's like huge, I believe. Yeah, he's huge.
30 feet tall.
Yeah.
So he's Oogie Boogie.
Mr. Oogie Boogie says
But
there's
much
trouble
bigger than
close
Oogie
at hand.
Boogie.
Yes, much bigger than Oogie Boogie.
And he can do things Oogie Boogie can't because he's just like a giant, monstrous bug man.
Yes. And if the players get close to defeating him, he can also discorporate.
Yeah.
Good fucking luck. You got a round to kill all these worms.
1 worm per hit point.
Yep. Book also points out the spawn of Kias monster from Monster Manual 2. Because of course it is. Yep. And the primary antagonist for the module, which this page spoils because his name is on it. Yeah, the primary antagonist working to free the worm after he. Yeah. So after Edwin Toadstoff gets out from the vault that he was locked in after being turned into a lesser worm that walks, see Exemplars of Evil. This is the guy that was in the vault during the Toadstoff chapter, or within the Toadstoff chapter, that they didn't actually stat out because he was a fucking worm that walks and he would annihilate the party. It was like a challenge. It was like a challenge rating 7 scenario that was built there. This is a do not fight.
Gotta fight it.
Yeah. But yeah, basically for that scenario, he only really plays the corrupting voice behind the vault. In truth, Edwin accidented into the state and wants it to end, seeing freeing Kias as his only option to either gain back his old state or die, which he sees as more likely, and he's fine with that. The other thing working behind the scenes is the Herald of Kias, a shape-changer, and Kias's high priest, whose natural form is best described as that thing. That thing right there. I'm not even going to fucking try to describe this verbally.
I even got a joke for that one. That's a thing.
Yeah. It's an Avalokia, which is yet another monster from Monster Manual 2, and is what frees Edwin if the players dealt with Edwin's grandchildren. And finally, Wormcrawl Island is the appropriately named prison of the worm that walks, complete with its own volcano and ominous olive containing an elder evil waiting to be unleashed on the world. That's surrounded by black.
It has a horrible black moat. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the worst that can? Oh, wait, nope. That's the worst that can happen. Gotcha.
Yeah. There's a lot of worse that can happen.
Yeah, a big moat of weird black fluid, and then a moat of poo water.
Yeah, and you're back.
A little island with an obelisk on it.
Yep. We certainly won't have to deal with very big pile of worms. All right. And finally on to Zargon the Returner. So the kingdom of Synodesia rose to prominence by reclaiming farmland from the desert via magic and technology until one day a bloodthirsty cult took over and the human sacrifice started. After exhausting their own criminals and unbelievers, they started enslaving the surrounding tribes for this purpose, which provoked the barbarians to sack the city, bringing the civilization to an end and discovering that Zargon, the dark god the cult worshipped, was right there in the city. The leader of the barbarians, Zancor, fought at Zargon for 7 days and nights, empowered by the gods, but his blows were instantly regenerated by the slime body of Zargon, and he lost, which prompted the gods to directly intervene, who also lost with even a few of them dying, but Zargon had one more enemy. So, it should come as absolutely no surprise to anyone listening that Asmodeus lies. Often.
Oh,
Some lies are blatant, but others are more omissions. The Nine Hells of Barator was not as empty a plane as the devils claimed when they first arrived there. It was a plane of running slime and rampant evil, full of Beatorians, and ruled by their father, Zargon. So, of course, Asmodeus and his followers did the sensible thing and exterminated and enslaved all of the Beatorians, destroying their lords, most of whom were slaved by Asmodeus himself, including Zargon, mostly, as well he could kill the flesh of the beast. The horn was unbreakable, so he cast it out of the hells, deep into the earth, and went about his business. Zargon regenerated from the horde, but it took centuries to crawl out of the deep earth where he was buried in. He emerged in Synodicia, which staved off his appetite for destruction by raising Zargon to a god and sacrificing people to quell Zargon's bloodlust. Initially, Zargon just played along, caring not for the weak humans and wanting to reclaim his own plane. But as worship expanded his power, slime spread across the land and birthed new soldiers for him. Zargon decided at this point, screw Beator, I'll just conquer this place. And then the barbarians attacked, but back to the Lord of Nethys. So Asmodeus gave no shits about dead gods, but Zargon was a problem. As it turns out, Zargon has some power that specifically messes with deities, which would be a problem for Asmodeus if this wasn't 3rd edition. In 3rd edition, Asmodeus is technically not a god, so he rules lawyers his way out of Zargon's most powerful abilities and defeated him for one last time, embaying his horn deep in a statue and burying his worshippers alive in tunnels to become a crazy, evil subterranean city of cultists trying to resurrect Zargon, because of fucking course he did. Zargon himself is no pushover for his challenge rating, but on the weaker side of Elder Evils in this book, especially meant for like a solo encounter, honestly. He is only a single CR16 monster.
Yeah.
I don't initially at least see any completely fucking ridiculous DCs, like here's a 30, I guess, but for slime. So the story plays out here is one of mounting tragedy and corruption that plays out something like like something Shakespeare wrote, but off camera, so those filthy player characters can't interfere with the heel turns until the final act where everyone dies play out somewhere where they are not, and they have to deal with I don't know, slime clocks and his hook tentacles. Basically, unlike the other characters, going into the details on these ones is actually kind of giving Billy a little bit too much. And the ziggurat is all that remains of Synodicia, and the headquarters of the cult until Zargon awakens, at which point it's slime time.
This horrible burbling abomination gets up out of his chair. It's slime time, Berber.
Theme, and they ran with it.
Part of the movie.
Yeah. And finally, the back of the book. Yeah, well, this one's neat. Yeah.
Bunch of neat ideas for elder evils and horrible things from beyond and world-shattering events.
Yeah.
These are cute little things kind of drop into a campaign.
Yeah. It practically works as a background for a campaign in general, too. Start showing signs, etc. Its only issue, if it is one, is everything here is designed for the end, basically.
Yep.
The timelines do have much lower CRs. So if you actually want to like draw, if like you were doing a campaign of like various contained stories of one sort or another, and like here's something that happens at CR5, so you can just drop that in at like CR5, and it's obviously going to have consequences later, and then etc. etc.
Yeah.
So it does let you like drop hints of the whole thing over the course of an entire campaign, rather than like okay, suddenly shoving the last act in over here, and I have a bunch to explain. It's like no, here's stuff that's just been going on in the back, and you've played through it. Yeah.
You guys would know this if you wouldn't keep getting sidetracked.
Listen, we only wrote 10 hours of plot, but here's 50 hours of side quests.
Made me write up an entire continent and all the cultures on it just because you refused to stay in the goddamn city.
Look, Frank found the rules for making a snake golem, and we're all really interested in that now.
No, they stayed in that one casino city. I had to invent a bunch of different mini games for them to play.
Minigames should be, it burned to the ground, move on.
Listen, they got really fascinated with breeding and racing these giant birds.
The Quickabos.
Yep. But yeah, in general, I actually liked dissecting and reading through this book. It was neat. It's got like a decent amount of lore to it, and actual usable stuff.
Yeah, it's just more of the same as the other one, except a bit more niche because it's super high level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be my only kind of issue with it. Certain threats wouldn't make any sense as lower level ones. Like, you're not using a Trophus as anything but what a Trophus is, because it's just, yeah. But at the same time, you could probably tune down the final encounter, I don't know, 8 or 9 fucking degrees, especially if your player characters are not power gaming munchkins, depending on what the party can handle.
One of the real nice differences, I think, between it and the other one is the other one teaches you how to make a BBEG. This one teaches you how to build a campaign for your BBEG.
Yeah.
It's actually real good.
Yeah, that is true. And has some pretty excellent examples, actually, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. With that, we will be right back with the next thing.